This video is brought to you by Rocket Money. More about them later. Being an umpire is a thankless job. When you do it well, nobody cares. I mean, it is your job after all. When you do it poorly though, everybody notices. As a general rule, if you know a Major League umpire by name, it's probably not for a good reason. Take Angel Hernandez.
On top of it, of his big league career, and now he's finding out about Angel Hernandez's strikes.
What?
That wasn't even close.
Or Jim Joyce.
Galarraga covers. He's out. No, he's safe. He is safe.
Or Enrico Palazzo.
Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo!
Now, there have been a few exceptions to this rule, and in recent years, there was no umpire better known for their skill and accuracy than Pat Hoberg. Hoberg has been referred to as the best ball strike caller in Major League Baseball. Since becoming a full-time ump in 2017, he is consistently ranked among the top officials in the game. Hoberg is probably best known for Game 2 of the 2022 World Series, when he called all 129 balls and strikes correctly. According to the Ump Scorecards Archive, which tracks umpire performances going back to 2015, Hoberg remains the only ump ever to call a quote-unquote perfect game. This didn't come out of nowhere though. See, Pat Hoberg had long been building a reputation as one of the best officials in Major League Baseball. From 2017 to 2019, Hoberg was top 5 in terms of calling balls and strikes. In 2021, he called the Field of Dreams game, the first Major League game ever held in his home state of Iowa. In 2022, he was ranked as the most accurate home plate umpire in baseball. By 2024, Hoberg, now 37 years old, was among the most widely respected officials in MLB. When the regular season began that spring, it would be his 11th in the big leagues. Unfortunately, this wasn't to be.
But before we get to why that is, I've got to ask you a question. Do you know how much you're spending each month on subscriptions? I thought I did, until I downloaded today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, and save money. Using Rocket Money, I found out that I was paying for over $100 a month in subscriptions, a lot of which I didn't even know about. Rocket Money will even cancel unwanted subscription and fees for you from within the app, all with just a couple of taps. That's how Rocket Money has helped members save up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features. I've also used Rocket Money to lower my bills. Simply upload a photo of your bill, tap a few buttons, and they'll negotiate your bills for you. Go to rocketmoney.com/starkraving to get started for free. That's rocketmoney.com/starkraving to get started today.
Breaking news now at 4. Major League Baseball has fired an umpire from Urbandale. It says Pat Hoberg shared sports gambling accounts with a friend. Hoberg was disciplined this past summer for, quote, violating the league's gambling rules, unquote. MLB says that investigation began during spring training. Hoberg famously called a perfect game in the 2022 World Series.
The scandal that led MLB to fire their best umpire was a long time in the making. This story begins in 2014, the year Pat Hoberg became a big league umpire. It was around this same time that Hoberg first met a person, a professional poker player identified only as Individual A. Over the next few years, the two would become good friends. Individual A was a frequent guest at Hoberg's house in Iowa. They golfed together, traveled, and watched sports on TV. The two were obviously close. So, when Hoberg asked Individual A to place some sports bets for him, the friend was more than happy to oblige. Hoberg would send his friend the bets he wanted to make via the app Telegram. Individual A would then place those bets on one of two sportsbooks. They would settle any debts in person. Other times, the umpire would place bets himself. Following Hoberg's initial request, his friend gave him access to the sportsbook accounts, which he used mostly to bet on football, basketball, hockey, and golf. Between December of 2020 and January of 2024, Hoberg's devices placed 529 direct sports bets for a total of $709,605.83. Altogether, these bets resulted in a net loss of over $74,000. Now, there's no evidence that Pat Hoberg bet on baseball. Still, The optics were not good. MLB began an investigation into the umpire in February 2024. Over the next few months, they would find out all about his betting, his sportsbooks, and Individual A. When league investigators reached out to Hoberg's friend, they understandably panicked. Individual A deleted all of their Telegram messages with Hoberg, who also deleted his own Telegram account. As a result of the investigation, Hoberg was made inactive for the entirety of the 2024 MLB season. That May, he was fired. He appealed the process and adamantly denied betting on baseball, but the decision was finalized in February 2025. He can first apply for reinstatement in the spring of 2026. Commissioner Rob Manfred said that the umpire should have known that his friend had bet on baseball from their shared account. Hoberg was fired for failing to conform to high standards of personal conduct and to maintain the integrity of the game of baseball. Around this same time, Hoberg made a statement via the MLB Umpires Association, taking responsibility for his actions, saying, quote, "Those errors will always be a source of shame and embarrassment to me." The firing of Pat Hoberg has been major news in the sports world, but he isn't the first to get caught up in the world of gambling. In 1882, umpire Dick Hyam was caught rigging games for profit. With the help of a well-known gambler, Hyam would send coded messages telling him which team to bet on. This scheme worked pretty well, until 1882, when Detroit Wolverines owner William G. Thompson became suspicious. Thompson, who also happened to be the mayor of Detroit, hired a private detective who turned up telegrams between the umpire and the gambler. Hyam was fired and banned from baseball. To date, he remains the only MLB umpire to have been banished from the game for life. In 2007, NBA referee Tim Donaghy resigned after an FBI investigation revealed that he bet on games he'd worked. Donaghy pled guilty to federal charges and was sentenced to 15 months in prison. Now, with the Supreme Court's legalization of sports betting in 2018 and the subsequent rise of online sportsbooks, legal gambling has become more widespread, more accessible, and more controversial than ever. Of course, baseball's history with gambling goes way, way back. Plenty of players over the years have been caught betting, fixing games, and accepting bribes. The issue today, however, is just how easy it is to do. In the 20th century, also known as the olden days, betting on sports meant you had to know a bookie, or at least you had to know a guy who knew a guy who could get you in touch with a bookie. Nowadays, though, you can place a bet on basically anything. Money lines, spreads, even strikeout and home run totals, all with just a few clicks. Gone are the days when getting kicked out of baseball required a team-wide conspiracy to throw the World Series. Now, you don't even need to leave the couch to catch a lifetime ban. So, was Pat Hoberg right to do what he did? Obviously not. Should he be banned for life, though? I don't think so. He made a mistake, he got caught, apologized, and now he's serving his time. Because, after all, nobody's perfect.